ladies and gentlemen, we are live once again, Miscellaneous and Brown. It's your boy, Erick Esteban, and I have a very exclusive guest coming to the pod today. I am so excited to introduce who could quite possibly be the first Filipina elected to California State Assembly, because she just won her first primary race by a bunch. She just blew it out. She was so awesome. And now she's here on the podcast, here on Miscellaneous and Brown. And guys, I'm not even going to, without any further delay or anything, I want to introduce you guys to Miss Jessica Caloza. So awesome. So awesome to have you on the pod today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Erick. So excited to be here on your podcast. Hello to all your listeners and viewers. I'm a huge fan of your show, and this is where I get the latest and the greatest for all things in the Philam community. So thank you for all you do to uplift our stories.
Yo, that really does mean a lot, because that's really the only goal for me for anything I do, as far as podcasting, as far as my comedy, as far as anything I write or produce. It's really just to uplift our stories and to share our stories. And in the case of your story, it's such an impressive story. So I want to start from the beginning. Like, what was little Jessica like if you could tell a story about little 10-year-old or 12-year, like who was little Jessica when, like, starting out? What was the beginnings of what got you to this point? Can you remember like when it was when in your childhood?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm really fortunate. You know, my family story, my story is like a lot of immigrants, a lot of Filipinos here in this country. We fled from the Philippines in really poverty conditions, and we came to LA for a better life, for a brighter future. And my parents, who are working class, worked really hard to provide for my siblings, and I am the youngest of six. I am the bunsoy. And so my experience,
You're the baby.
I'm the baby, was very different because I got to enter the public education system here from the very start, and all my siblings transitioned to jobs right away. So I had a very different privilege and an opportunity to start from scratch. And so I really grew up, even though I had five siblings, I really felt like I had five mom and dads, because I had to grow up fast because of the environment that we were in, really working to put food on the table, to pay bills. These were things I thought of even as a child, because we know that, especially as immigrants, as Filipinos, that it becomes the entire family's problem to really come up with solutions. And that's how we deal with problems as a family. And so everyone has to contribute. And so for me, seeing the struggles of my families is what motivated me to really dedicate my life to public service, because government is what changed our lives and my life. And I truly, from the bottom of my heart, believe that government can transform lives when it works, and when it works for the people, when it works for communities that don't often see themselves in the halls of government. And so I knew from a young age that this is what I wanted to do with my career, because this is the great equalizer. When you give people opportunity, they can and they will succeed. And so that's my family story. And in one generation, we were able to immigrate here to being on the ballot for the first time. And that's only possible.
That's incredible.
And so it's something that I take seriously. And really what I think of in this job is, how do I make more opportunities for people like my family and families that don't often have a voice? And that's the power of government. That is the power of voting. And so it's so incredibly important that Filipinos, if you did not vote in the March primary, you have another chance to make your voice heard in the November general election. And if you voted already, thank you. We have to always invest in ourselves. And that's what you do by voting and casting a ballot. You're really investing in your family and really investing in candidates who will fight for people that look like us. So,
and that's kind of like another thing I wanted to get into was we don't see people like us on the ballot normally. Like this is the first time that this is a historic thing that you're eligible to be part of this California State Assembly and represent your district. So tell me about that.
Yeah.
Tell me about how that feels, the significance of that. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, no, it's a huge deal. There's been a lot of people who've gone before me who've run for office. Tita Jocelyn Giaga Rosenthal, one of my mentors. We call her the grandmother of historic Filipino town. She ran for assembly, and she I think placed in like 7th or 8th place. And each generation, you see us making more and more progress. So I'm able to be here and to run for office because other people came before me and asked the hard questions that built the infrastructure that I am able to benefit from. And so it's thanks to Tita Jocelyn, it's thanks to Attorney General Rob Bonta, who was our first Filipino American in the state legislature, and Todd Gloria, who was the second Filipino American in the assembly, now mayor of San Diego, who blazed this path. But we have never elected a Filipino American to the California state legislature ever. And when you look at the state, when you look at LA County and you look at the contribution specifically of not just the Filipino community, but Filipino American women, they have been tremendous. Filipina nurses saved lives during the pandemic. A lot of people in my family were part of that.
They gave lives too.
They gave life, and what?
Because I mean, they a lot of Filipina nurses passed away during the pandemic.
Yes,
because they were on the front line. Yeah, I feel that's why I was just kind of like fortifying what you were saying, because that was we did fundraisers in Chicago for some of the Filipino nurses at Zanies when right after the pandemic, to kind of like, because so many families were so hard hit by the pandemic, and Filipinos were on the front line of all of that. And it really is good to have you as a representative in the government to protect us, in a lot of ways. There's so many ways that people almost don't understand that your position as the first Filipina in California State Assembly. I mean, California is the 5th largest economy in the world. We're like a country by ourselves. So you're like a governor or something, like equivalent, because you're how many people are in your district that you're responsible for?
Yeah, if so you were to be elected. Yeah, there's 500,000 people in the district. It includes South Glendale, Eagle Rock, Mount Washington, Los Feliz, Echo Park, Silver Lake, Leslie Park, the Dodger Stadium, East LA. It is a big, beautiful district. There are 13,000 Filipino voters in this district. And within LA County, there's about 500,000 Filipino Americans. And that is the largest population of Filipinos outside of the Philippines. And so, we really have to challenge our community. We have to challenge ourselves. When we say representation matters, what does that mean to us? And how much are we willing to do to really not just say the words, but really to heed that call of action for our community, to really make sure that we give voice to these stories that don't get told. Like all the Filipina nurses who disproportionately were impacted during COVID because they did save lives and they gave up their own life to care for others. And the question that we have to ask ourselves, because we don't have representation at the state level, is who's caring for them? And so those are the questions that keep me up at night, that drive me to do this work, because work hasn't stopped. Our frontline healthcare workers are still doing the work. And we need to really ensure that we not only get our community to vote, but we empower them to get engaged in our political process by seeing people that look like us talk about policy, talk about budgets, talk about legislation, and what this all means and how it drills down to what we talk about at the dinner table. And that's really the community building and the community organizing that I really care deeply about and that I'm excited about for the November election, because there's a lot of great conversations to be had with our own community as we look at what our political power building looks like in this country and specifically in LA.
So I can't help but over here. Are those your kids playing in the background, or is that other family members?
No, those are other family members. And I'm actually in beautiful Chinatown. Chinatown used to be in Assembly District 52. It's not anymore, but it's still a big part of the communities that I love here in LA, because, for me, it doesn't matter what the borders are of Assembly District 52. Like, I'm here to serve the whole of LA. And that includes parts like Chinatown.
And you're hustling. You're on the campaign trail. So tell us about that. Tell us your experience, on the trail. How has that been for you?
I mean, the campaign trail, has been an incredible experience. We started and launched our campaign of June of last year in a really crowded field. A lot of people dropped out. Most of those people ended up joining our campaign and endorsing me because of the broad coalition we're building. But really, my favorite thing about being on the field has been meeting people. And I hope that for people thinking of running for office, and I hope most people do, that's really a core part of it, is listening to people, talking with people about what they care about, and then asking them the question that most people have never been asked, which is, what do you want to see in your community? And that always never fails to shock me when I ask somebody that, because oftentimes they don't know what to say because they've never been asked, or they've been asked, but they have been given broken promises. And so I'm here to rebuild that trust. And that's what I've been doing my entire career. So I'm excited to get back to knocking doors, in the coming weeks, to continue the engagement at community events, meeting with community leaders, and really to tell everyone that even though our community, I would be the first Filipina American in the States. We represent something so much bigger than that Filipinos are here to build a really inclusive coalition that can represent all communities, because we have so many shared struggles and shared experiences, like being immigrants for a lot of our families. And what unites us, and those struggles that unite us, is so much greater than anything else. And we have a lot of work to do. And so I'm really looking forward to campaigning the next few months and really fighting for every vote, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to win.
So, and with that, we're here to help you win. So whenever you want to come back to be on the podcast, if there's something that you want to address during your campaign where you're like, I want to be on camera and talk to Erick because he'll make it funny. So I will, no, straight up. I want to offer my podcast to you to whenever you need it. Just let me know you just hit me on the text, and we'll be right back here recording episodes and asking you questions, because people want to know who you are, and it's really great to be able to ask you questions, and I want to ask you another question about what motivates you besides your career, besides your politics, besides everything. What motivates you as Jessica to get up in the morning and, okay, I'm ready to go? What is that thing that helps you in the morning to get up and do what you're doing and keep on that campaign trail?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And it's my family. It's really thinking of how far my parents, Gigi and Jesse, have come to sacrifice and give opportunity to me and my siblings. And that's what drives me. Because the things that they fought for, good paying jobs, a good public school education, good healthcare, more stable housing over time, those are still the same things that I'm fighting for. But the difference from when we immigrated here in the 90s and today is that today it's so much harder. And so we are not making progress. because people, and I know this because we've knocked on so many doors, people are just surviving, but they're not actually talking about rebuilding our middle class. They're not talking about what their pathways are for home ownership, if that's something that they want. Everyone is struggling paycheck to paycheck. People are thinking about the cost of living, their bills. And for me, how do we get beyond that to really look at what progress means for our most underserved communities? Because it shouldn't be harder to attain those things today than when my parents moved here. It should be easier. And so that tells me that we have a lot of work to do as a government, as a community, to really protect our families. And, for the legislature, for those who are paying attention to the news cycle, we're entering a really tumultuous time in state politics. We are entering a state of a major budget deficit. And the number changes. And there's different estimates. Some estimates say 30 billion deficit, some estimates say 50 billion deficit. But what I know is that we're in the billions with a B, which means that we are entering a phase where a lot of programs are going to get cut. And that means less resources for our kids, for women, for families, for workers. And so that's really what we're entering. And that's why I really want to take my experience working for President Obama, working as a public works commissioner, working for the Attorney General, to really help us navigate what we're entering into, which is a crisis. And we need to elect people with that experience who can go in from day one and understand not just the politics of what's going on, but who have the relationships to really help ensure that we are prioritizing the needs of our community.
So I love all of that. I mean, I love that you're motivated by those things, because those are the same things that motivate me in my politics and why I'm doing this podcast and why I did the stuff for Phil Ems for Biden in the last election. But you said something and you said that you worked with Obama. And when I started a podcast in general was because Mark Maron had Barack Obama on his podcast. And that's my crowning jewel. That's my
it's your bread and butter.
Goal. That's the goal. And because in Chicago, my parents, they were at his first fundraiser for running for state assembly in Illinois. Yeah, for state senate. And my dad, being as bold as he is, he said, you should change your name. Because I changed my name. My name is Esteban. And everybody here call me Steve. You see, it works better. So you should change your name. That's what my dad said to Barack Obama when he met him. And I've never got an opportunity to meet Barack Obama. And he, like I said, it's like a bucket list goal of mine to be able to meet this man who's basically inspired me to be everything that I am right now. Like everything that his election made everything in my mind possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so I want to ask you, what is it like to hang with him, to hang with my political Jesus?
Well, I started off, and this is also one of the stories that really solidified what I wanted to do. But I ended up working for President Obama by complete accident. As in college, I went to UC San Diego, and I almost died on my birthday. I ended up being hospitalized. My mom found me, and long story short, I ended up being very, very sick. And the only reason why I'm here today is for two reasons. One, because my mom found me and rushed me to the ER and saved me. And two, it's because of the Affordable Care Act. At the time, there was a huge fight happening over healthcare. There's always a big fight happening over healthcare. But at the time, President Obama had just passed the Affordable Care Act earlier that year. And one of the things that he really fought for was the ability of young people like myself at the time to stay on your parents' plan until after you graduated from college. And so I would not have been covered, and I would be in hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical debt if it weren't for Obamacare. And so I had this life or death experience, and that inspired
Mm-hmm.
me to take a chance and apply to intern for his administration. And I thought, I'm just a public school kid. I was born in Quezon City. I'm competing against Ivy League kids with stacked resumes. I said, I don't think I'm going to get this, but I just told them my truth, my story, what happened to me, and I got the internship. And so I interned in his administration, and then I got recruited to work on his campaign as a field organizer. So it was my first job. What I did for President Obama is what I'm still doing now, which is knocking on doors, talking to voters, which is what I love to do. And I got to tell him the story. I got to thank him for passing the Affordable Care Act and for saving my life, for saving life of millions of people and Americans who now have health care coverage because he chose to fight for us, because this stuff matters, regardless of whether or not you like
It so matters.
politics.
People don't realize, they take it for granted now almost. But that, even just being able to stay on a healthcare plan with pre-existing conditions, and how people
Yes.
used to be able to get kicked off of like the things that the Affordable Care Act did and does still currently today,
Yep.
people devalue it so much, and it's a shame, because that was the first time since what, Roosevelt, I think, that they passed some type of health or Social Security or some type of, like, it was a huge deal in our
Yes.
country, and people demonize them for it still, and it's a shame. But at the same time, the people who know better, and it for me, Obama has been like I said, he's been a guiding light. And I was just home from Chicago, and I said that there are only 2 times that I've been here living in LA that I've missed Chicago more. There's two, the most are when the Cubs won the World Series, and it was like the world's largest human, congregation of people, because it was like 100-year celebration. And then when Obama won, and he did his inaugural speech in Grant Park, and it was my hometown. Oh, that will forever be etched in my brain, and those pictures in my brain, because there were tears in my eyes. I really didn't see it properly, but like it was one of those moments I'll never forget in my life. But it's always propelled me, and and especially to
You're
acknowledge the
inspired.
significance. Well, no, but also to acknowledge the significance of firsts, because he was the
Yeah.
first that made it possible for all of us. But now you're going to be another first, and I'm honored to have you on my podcast. I really am. It's incredible, because I know you're going to win. Shoot, I know it already. Because
So funny.
I'm just I'm just going to share this quick thing, and then we can wrap it up. So I went to your live event at Oyster, and that's where we
Yes, you
kind of
were
met in
there.
person.
You surprised me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but because I don't think we've met prior to that. That was the first time we met in person, correct? Am I wrong, or am I right?
I think we met one other time, and I'm
Like
trying to
maybe
remember
briefly at one
where.
other time.
Yes.
But
But
I
I knew who you
knew.
were.
See, this is the thing. That's what I was about to bring up. Because I've been doing comedy now, and I've been going out of state and touring and stuff for a while. So when I see somebody who like connects with me in the eyes, and I know they recognize me from something, what I'm saying? Like, so when I, made eye contact with you, and you were like, "Oh, Erick's here. He's probably gonna want to I was so touched by just your recognition of that. Seriously, I was so happy. And then when
Aw.
you asked me to stand and take pictures with you, I was honored, because I mean, there's Alvin Kailan and owner of Oyster, Nick, and what, me, who just, I mean, basically, I just talk a lot of shit. Let's just be real, okay? That's all I. But I'm just happy that you were able to, that we can work together, because I'm gonna do my best to do whatever I can, and if you need me to host stuff and host events, I'm just like, I'm a text away, girl. Just let me know, because I'm down for it. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
you're not giving yourself enough credit. You're a storyteller, and if there is a gap that I see in our community from going from being complacent to feeling inspired and hopeful and engaged for the future. It's that, it's telling our stories. It's telling the diversity of all the Filipinos, Filipinas in our community and their experiences to really inspire other people to get involved. And that's what you do. And so you're a very critical piece between now and the November election, because we need your help to tell all of our stories, to tell the community stories, because my story is like many other people who have come before me. The difference is they did not have an Erick Esteban to tell their story. So,
girl,
thank you.
Okay, so you heard her. You heard her. So you should subscribe to the podcast and subscribe to YouTube, because we're going to upload this video. And JessicaCaloza.com, right? Or what's the website where they can go and where they can contact you, where the Instagram, tell them everything, where they can get involved and volunteer. Tell them everything, Jessica, because we're about to wrap this up. Because I got my other guests waiting in the studio. We're banging them out. We're banging them out. I love it. It's incredible.
For those who are interested in getting involved, join our campaign. You are welcome. We want you to join our family. You can go to jessicacaloza.com, or you can text me. Everyone, I think, has my phone number at this point.
I got it.
205-5177. We are just a call or text away. So come join our team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jessica. And again, I'm honored to have you on this pod. I'm honored to have you on Miscellaneous and Brown. And I'm also honored to call you my friend, because I'm excited to be a part of your campaign and help you get into the state assembly.
Thank you so much, Erick. Let's get after it. Thank you, everybody.
Let's do it. All right. See you later.
What you got? Well, here we go. You can see the size is colossal. Look at the way she make the thing go. Make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Hey, make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Hey, it's summertime, starting up a heat wave, and now all weekend, hardly slept in 3 days. Whoever's driving the car is the DJ. When it's Q, you better pump that bass. The dominance is obvious, I guillotine, heads roll, everywhere I go I rep Philippines. Found my way, turn amaze to amazing. Infinite flows discovered in an ancient spaceship. I see things before they happen, visionary. Bury me inside a studio at the cemetery. My modus operandi not monetary. Noah Lazarus, the holy one out the monastery. So let me see your cue, plus the why, that's the crew. I'm a giant, how I grew, still connected to my roots. Rhymes, I kick it like Bruce, got me feeling like Zeus. Standing tall like Manu, to reach this level need a boost. I don't think you're born any problems. What you got? Well, here we go. You can see the size is colossal. Look at the way she make the thing go. Make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Hey, make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Hey, smoother than Brazilian wax. Let's interact. My life a cinematic reflection in the mirror max. With the pros, I'm proliferating. She said my syntax sounds so scintillating. Flavormatics on the beat, savory. Being scared, still doing it, that's bravery. Hunger turned us into savages. Ain't nobody give us nothing, had to do it alone, without a loan. Like Norfolk, Queens, Aquafina had the shell toe. Adidas used to hang with the drug dealers. Been doing this since cassette tapes in my Walkman, writing rhymes on the subway. Traditions I carry on, hip-hop scholar, mastered in the street science. Raw diamonds have a finer. With the stars in alignment, got the youth to the truth. On the tree of knowledge, squeeze forbidden fruit and made it juice. I don't think you're born any problems. What you got? Well, here we go. You can see the size is colossal. Look at the way she make the thing go. Make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Hey, make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Hey, I just wanna dance all night, wanna dance all night, wanna dance all night with you. I just wanna dance all night, wanna dance all night, wanna dance all night with you.